welcome back. Once again, President Biden dodging the blame for skyrocketing inflation as he is warning record high gasoline and food prices are not coming down anytime soon. Watch this.
We can't take immediate action that I'm aware of yet to figure out how we bring down the price of gasoline back to $3 a gallon. And we can't do that immediately with regard to food prices either.
Well, they did a lot to take it up. This, as the Wall Street Journal editorial board is out with a new op-ed this morning slamming Democrats for the 40-year high inflation. The editorial board writes, quote, the inflation that progressives helped to cause, failed to anticipate, and then ignored is one more example of earned public distrust. We've been telling you about this now for several months as we show you the inflation timeline and how inflation was at 1.4% when Joe Biden walked into the White House. Joining me right now is the Heritage Foundation's president, Kevin Roberts. Kevin, it's great to see you. Thanks very much for being here. Your thoughts on what you heard from Joe Biden. The president says there's nothing he could do about this.
Yeah, you know, not only is he wrong about that, when you think about what he wrote in the Wall Street Journal, Maria, he's actually going to make it worse. The problem, the root cause of inflation is too much government spending. And what's worse still, I mean, it's like this is a terrible nightmare novel, right, is the condescension that senior members of his administration, Maria, have towards the American people. The transportation secretary, for example, said that we could fight high gas prices by buying electric vehicles that very few of us could afford. We hear the former press secretary talking about inflation being temporary, the chief of staff saying it's only a high-class problem. This is a kitchen table problem, as you cover so well every day, and it's time that we reverse course in policy, which is to stop the reckless spending by the president and his party.
Yeah, I mean, we've got more spending in terms of forgiveness of student loan debt this morning. Even though he had the COVID relief package signed into law last March, that was $1.9 trillion. The infrastructure package was another $1 trillion. The Democrats pushing that $5 trillion Build Back Better plan. That's what stoked inflation. That's why we're at 8.3% right now. Now there's new concern that Shanghai's COVID reopening will force already surging energy prices to go even higher. Kevin, I mean, look, we want to see Shanghai open because that has reverberations across the world. But don't forget, as it opens, it will likely move markets like the oil market.
Oh, it will. I mean, there are projections out this morning, Maria, that oil will hit $150 a barrel. Gas could average $6 a gallon across the country. And yet this administration refuses to admit that just 2.5 years ago, the United States was energy independent. And I think that's really the key thing for us to remember. This is an issue that transcends Republican and Democrat, liberal and conservative. It affects all of us, but it affects people who for a couple of years were enjoying the benefits of a robust American energy policy that put Americans first. This administration is very purposeful, however, and I really want to underscore this. The President of the United States just 2 weeks ago said that this was a quote-unquote incredible transition from fossil fuels. What's incredible about it, Maria, is how expensive it is for us, and not just in energy, but when we go to the grocery store. I never thought, to sum up here, having grown up in the Jimmy Carter years, that I would have to live through a presidency worse than Biden or worse than Carter, and we have that in Joe Biden.
Yeah, and don't forget the cost of capital is going up, right? So we're already sitting on $30 trillion of debt. And those interest payments are going to be hundreds of billions of dollars as the Fed raises rates. You say if we really want to send a strong message to adversaries such as China, we need to show them that we can get our own fiscal house in order. The administration is building closer economic ties with Taiwan right now. And the U.S. Trade Representative's office is unveiling a new economic pact to promote bilateral trade. That happened yesterday. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo also launched a separate initiative with Taiwan to address technology, trade, and investment. Kevin, what messages is this sending to China? And I also want to throw in here, it looks to me, and this is my opinion, it looks to me that Joe Biden is seriously considering rolling over for China again by removing the tariffs that the Trump administration put in place. He's going to hide behind the inflation story to do this and say, well, if we remove the tariffs on China, then maybe we'll help the inflation story. But it's giving in to our adversary once again.
I'm afraid you're right. I mean, you know me and you know us at Heritage. We are not partisan hacks. We want to just call a spade a spade. And in this case, I would love to be optimistic about the administration reaching out to Taiwan. But to underscore what you said, Maria, there is a lot of news about this economic partnership we're establishing with Taiwan. At first blush, it sounds really good, but there are two concerns. The first is that this comes days after the administration purposefully left out Taiwan from the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. That would have sent a signal of strength to the Chinese communists. And the second is, as we know, this agreement, whatever agreement we establish with Taiwan, will be led with Green New Deal policies that, to come full circle in our conversation this morning, will only make life more expensive in America and around the world.
Yeah. All right, Kevin. Great to see you. Thanks very much for your insights on all of that. Kevin Roberts, Heritage Foundation, joining us this morning.